D2 having technical difficulties live here with Rip Asshole Tides.
No, he always has technical difficulties with his brain and his speaking.
It's not my fault OBS and all my settings on my laptop decided to be a piece of shit earlier, but all those are fixed up. You know what's not fixed up? My lack of brain cells. After you made me watch this abomination of a WCW show.
I don't know what you mean by that.
No, you know exactly what I mean by that. You picked it. Well,
I don't know why you call it an abomination. It wasn't that bad.
Close to. Anyway, as you can tell here, the event that we recently watched for this review was WCW SuperBrawl Revenge that took place on February 18th, 2001 in Nashville, Tennessee at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium with a reported attendance of 4,395. This was during the dying days of WCW, by the way. They would be literally out of business a little over a month after this show. All right.
Yeah.
And the commentators for this event was Tony Schiavone and Scott Hudson. I'm so used to saying Mike today, okay? Just cut me some slack, right?
Mike Tenay wasn't even on this pay-per-view.
I know. And the ring announcers were David Pinzer and Mike Buffer. Mike Buffer obviously did the introduction for the main event.
At this point, he was literally in TNA.
TNA didn't exist yet. And
NWA.
Or NWA would probably be more fitting. All right. And of course, a special dark match took place before this event aired on pay-per-view, and that was Chris Harris defeating Kid Romeo. I forgot Chris Harris even freaking wrestled for WCW.
Why do you think he got his Wildcat name?
I forgot Chris Harris wrestled for WCW. When I think Chris Harris, I think of TNA.
Well, him and the Cowboy James Storm both wrestled in WCW.
Yeah, that was shocking.
They were literally called America's Most Wanted, and then they went over to another promotion, which became even more famous.
Yeah, and then they went to TNA, and the rest is history, as we know with those two.
Chris Harris is retired because of an eye injury that he sustained against the Cowboy James Storm.
Yep, and then we go on to the first match of the night, which was... Oh, yeah, they did the introduction for the show. You know, the typical intro for these pay-per-views. I'm not going to go into detail with that. But our first match, we see a 6-man elimination match to determine the number one contender for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. And the winner of this match would face whoever the Cruiserweight Champion is at Greed. Another crappy WCW show that we need to review. You know, that was the final WCW pay-per-view as well as Greed.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it was Shannon Moore versus Kaz Hayashi. I'll just call him Kaz. Not to be confused with Kazarian, that wasn't the same person. Like we discussed in our last WCW show we did. Yin Yang, who is better known as Jimmy Wang Yang, so I'll just call him Yang for this. Jamie Noble, that was actually spelled with a K.
It's Knoble when he was in WCW. So it was Jamie Knoble.
I'm still just going to call him Jamie Noble. Why? Because Knoble is stupid.
Knoble!
Knoble sounds stupid as hell. And of course, the fifth competitor was Evan Courageous in this one, but The reason for that being is Billy Kidman was supposed to be the sixth participant in here until he was attacked by a road warrior animal in the back before the event started, unlike the free-for-all or whatever they were doing, right?
Yeah.
So instead, he was replaced by Shane Helms, the future Hurricane.
Shane Sugar Hands Helms.
And I'm just like looking at the attire that not only Shane Helms was wearing, but also some of the other competitors were wearing. I'm like, that spells late 90s, early 2000s, doesn't it?
Well,
With the baggy pants and all that shit.
well, this was their year to date when they first debuted in 2000 for 3 count, which was the one guy that you said,
Yeah.
Shannon Moore and Shane Gregory Helms.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I forgot Shannon Moore competed in WCW as well. Because when I think of Shannon Moore, I think of his time as a Mattitude follower in WWE and obviously his time in TNA.
And ECW as
And ECW.
with the Booker Dillygaff.
That was also TNA.
Yes, but he debuted that Shannon Moore in ECW for his Punk version.
Yeah, and there was some high-flying action to start off with, like, you know, the first 5 minutes, but oh my god. And I thought, okay, this match was actually going to be a good match. It wasn't. How many botches and missed freaking spots did we see in this match? We've seen more missed high-flying spots in this goddamn match and botches more than fucking the chin lock from the SummerSlam review last week.
It seemed about right.
And I'm just like, wow, these people have really bad timing on their shit. Right? But I'm not going to go into detail of every freaking move. What are some spots that stand out before we get to the eliminations here? Now, you remember from this opening contest?
Let's see. Shannon Moore would use fucking the leg drop off the damn top rope, but she freaking named it something else at the time.
Yeah. And of course, Courageous was the first one eliminated when Yang pinned him following a neck breaker. And of course, everyone in this match had their chance to shine, including Jamie Noble. He was the next one eliminated, or Jamie Noble eliminated Yang with a reverse pile driver, or jumping reverse pile driver. I'm like, this was before Noble got the power tiger bomb for a finisher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next one eliminated from this match was Noble. He got eliminated by Moore following a bottoms up. I think that was the name of the leg drop that you were trying to think of, right? And of course, Helms and Moore double teamed freaking Hayashi here, or Kaz, or whatever you want to call him, for a good portion. But they kept breaking up each other's pin attempts. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? Right? In an elimination match of all things. Oh yeah, some of the other cruiserweights did that too, and it made no sense in an elimination match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like watching an elimination chamber match, and all of a sudden you see pinfall attempts get broken up. I'm like, why? It's elimination. It's not one fall, right?
Because they wanted to be the ones to do it.
I know, it makes no sense to me though. And of course, Helms ultimately beat Moore and eventually hit him with a freaking Nightmare on Helm Street, which that was actually a good name for his finishing maneuver at the time.
He kept the Nightmare on Helm Street.
Yes. And then we were down to 2 men, Hayashi and freaking Helms. And after some great...
Which he stole from fucking Nightmare on Elm Street and then just named it Nightmare on Helm Street.
Exactly. Yeah, but, after some back and forth between Helms and Hayashi here, which could have gone either way, let's be honest here. Helms was able to get the final elimination and the win, following a vertebraker to freaking Hayashi to get the pinfall win and become number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was good. I still can't believe that he was part of that fucking lip singing band of rejects, but
I mean, Sugar Shane Helms, I think that was one of his first gimmicks he had on mainstream in WCW, but not to be fair, he would have a better gimmick later on, known as the Hurricane.
Well, he got the Hurricane gimmick, I think, after he won the WCW Cruiserweight Championship.
As far as I know, I thought his freaking gimmick change dated back to WWE after WCW.
No, he was the Hurricane in WCW.
Yeah, I thought the gimmick change took place in WWE shortly after freaking WCW's buyout. At least that's what I was led to believe.
No.
But either way, no matter the origins of the character, that the Hurricane character became Shane Helms' freaking successful gimmick. Still to this day.
He became more successful in WWE, yes, but he originally debuted it in WCW 2001, going through the invasion and all that shit.
Anyway, I think, was it after this match that we go backstage and we see Lance Storm freaking confronting both freaking Brian Clark and Brian Adams backstage, saying the Clark's not freaking clear to compete?
Yes. Yes, we get to see your good old boy Lance Storm freaking go tell Chronic that one of them is not until he sees the quack doctor of WCW when he was cleared by another doctor.
Yep. Yeah, and obviously that did not end up happening because, this is WCW we're talking about. All right?
Yes.
And of course, the next match had a little bit of story to it, but it's not really a story that I necessarily cared about, and that's the one-on-one match between Hugh Morris, known as Bill DeMont, taking on The Wall. Yeah, apparently they were part of that freaking, what was the name of their stable with Chavo Guerrero called? It was like an Army's typeset freaking faction.
MIA.
It was MIA. Yeah, and the Wall was known as A-Wall. Freaking, I forget what Chavo Guerrero's name was supposed to be in there, but then you had Huge Erection. What a shit name that was.
Yes, he was called General Erection.
Huge Erection. Which is something
you'll
never
General
have.
Erection.
General Erection, or without the General, Huge Erection. Which is something you'll never have.
You fucking tiny ass 2 centimeter ass prick.
But anyway, this whole thing came about with the Wall's betrayal of Morris, leading to the breakup of the Misfits in Action. That's MIA. And, well, that's when this match came about. This was just your good old-fashioned big man slapping man meat match for most of it. I really wasn't into this. Alright? And before we discuss the ending, what are some spots on here you remember from this brawl? That's what this was. It was just a brawl.
It wasn't a wrestling match. It was just a fucking brawl.
And neither man had the advantage for very long in this one. Right?
Yeah.
And then in the end, freaking Morris delivered a German suplexes and a no laughing matter to win the match.
And then he delivers another no laughing matter.
Yeah, Hugh Morris won. Hugh Morris won the match. No one really cared. I really wasn't into this. Because I'm just like, watching these two big men slapping man meat, that's what it's called these days. Ain't no different than watching, say, Braun Breaker and another, like, big opponent that he has in the modern day. It was the same formula even back then. Right?
No, this was better. It was a better formula back then than it is now.
Because now everyone just expects it and tries to be like, oh, here's what's going to happen. Right?
Well, the wall or a wall was literally freaking Hugh Morris's or Bill DeMont, like you said, when he went to WWE. They had the fucking big ass rivalry that they had back then.
Ugh. I know, but it just could have used a little bit more. Maybe a no disqualification situation or a no holds barred situation would have been good, but it just felt average to me, or less than average, in my opinion. You may be thinking different. You're entitled to your own opinion. You obviously said it. You obviously made those known before here. All right. Yeah, was there another backstage segment after this match that I'm forgetting here? If you remember correctly.
I think so.
Maybe involved some with Lance Storm again. Maybe involved Ric Flair backstage. Lord knows those two are all over this show. Right? But anyhow, that's not really important. This next match on here was a WCW Tag Team title match. It was Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Haire defending against Mark Jindrak and Stan Stasiak. All four men were former members of their own stable at this point. From the little video package, pre-match package I heard above. Right?
They were former members of the freaking training camp that they had.
And they were also former members of the National Board Thrillers. That's what they were.
Yes. And then Sean Stasiak and Jindrak were upset that Sean O'Haire and Chuck Palumbo won the WCW Tag Team Championships, saying that Stasiak was the true leader of the Natural Born Thrillers.
Yeah.
And fucking O'Haire told Sean Stasiak to shut the fuck up.
Yes. Yeah, and not enough credit's given to Sean O'Haire in the modern day. He was a powerhouse back then. He looked ripped as shit. Looked like he fucked something up for real.
He was still a powerhouse when he went to WWE.
Yeah, it was just his character wasn't used in the way that it should have. Right? And, typical throughout the match, Jindrak and Stasiak were in control of the match for the most part. Double teaming Chuck Palumbo, preventing him from getting the tag. And there was a blind tag at one point, but Sean O'Haire freaking had to go back to the freaking apron because the ref didn't see. All right? It was your basic tag team freaking affair here. Heels in control, hot tag. The freaking babyface got the hat tag. Is a house of fire. That's what we've seen here. Right?
They were all heels. It was just heel on heel.
It was heels on heels, but I think freaking the people cheered for O'Haire and Palumbo more than Stasiak and Jindrak here. Right?
Because no one cared for Stasiak and Jindrak.
I mean, come on. The only time Sean Stasiak was freaking relevant was when he ran into fucking garage doors. Wait, what? I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. Right?
Well, he was also part of La Resistance.
And let's not forget Planet Stasiak. That's where he's from. He was a loon. Right?
God, that came about after him running into fucking steel doors. And missing completely over a fucking medical table.
But yeah, after some
Like, oh, I'm gonna take out the rock.
correct,
Oh, I'm gonna do it again.
oh shit, right? Oh
I'm
shit,
just gonna Superman dog.
oh shit, 4 concussion. Thank God I'm already in the trainer's room. Right. But yeah, I know we're just talking about the backstage foods at SummerSlam of '01, but anyway, getting back to the match near the end. Near the end of the match, Palumbo and O'Hare finished Stasiak off when Palumbo nailed a jungle kick and O'Hare freaking delivered the Swanton or the Senton bomb to win the match and retain the championships.
Yeah.
Besides the spots that I mentioned, is there any spots that stood out to you, or what's your thoughts on this tag match overall?
Well, I liked how they fucking didn't even put Mark Jindrak as Sean Stasiak's name when they entered. They just literally had Sean O'Hare and fucking Chuck Palumbo's name and then again, right when those two came out, Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare. I'm like, they just announced that they just came out earlier.
Yep. So nice they had to put their name brackets up twice.
Yes. And then Sean Stasiak and fucking Mark Jindrak were fucking saying, oh yeah, we're the actual brains of the Natural Born Thrillers. We're going to do this. And then they're going to get on their knees and kiss the ground we walk on.
None of that obviously ended up happening. So it's like, wow.
That's because Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare put their boots right up their asses and had them kissing the ground that they walked on.
So yeah, anyway. We get to our
Powerhouse. That's what it was. It was the Powerhouse faction training camp that they were part of, that all four of them were part of, and all four of them were each other's tag partners at a certain point in time when they won the WCW Tag Team Championships on those different occasions.
Yeah. Yep, so we get on to our next matchup here, which to me I feel was the best match of the night. It was Chavo Guerrero, back then known as Chavo Guerrero Jr., defending the WCW Cruiserweight title against Rey Mysterio. Of course, back then Rey Mysterio was known as Rey Mysterio Jr.
The filthy animal, Rey Mysterio. Thank you very much.
The filthy animal. More like the filthy deadbeat.
Go fuck yourself, fucking trash can loving son of a bitch.
I'm not a fan of Dominic's either.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry, man. Just like I said in the last WCW pay-per-view we did, it feels weird seeing Rey Mysterio compete without the mask. I know he didn't have the mask for like 2 years at this point, but still, it's weird to see in the modern day. All right.
Well, the filthy animal is comprised of Billy Kidman, Rey Mysterio,
Eddie Guerrero.
and
Well, it did comprise of Eddie Guerrero until he left the company about a year prior.
Yes.
And Conan was in on it too.
Yes, and Conan. Conan was the leader. It was Conan, Eddie, Ray, and Billy Kidman.
Yep. And of course, Mysterio and Guerrero here had some high-flying action to really kick off this matchup here.
Oh, and the backstage subject was that Conan was going up to Animal and saying, oh, I know what you did to Billy Kidman. Then they started to have a fucking brawl back there. That's what the segment was.
Yeah, it's resulting in Kidman being forced out of Conan being forced out of the arena, supposedly.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be a theme for this show, right?
Yes.
And there was some high-flying action to start off this Cruiserweight title match between Mysterio and Guerrero. Of course, Rey Mysterio and Chavo Guerrero never have had really a bad match, in my opinion. course, it was kind of funny seeing Rey Mysterio dressed in overalls looking like a member of the Sister Fishers. I mean, Godwins.
Well, he also had them devil horns on his head.
Yes. And of course, at one point, freaking Rey Mysterio got caught up in the trio O and the turnbuckles, and Chavo Guerrero nailed a dropkick. And yeah, when that happened, Mysterio put his arm down, revealing a tattoo that said "trash can" on it. I mean, Dominic on it, that he still has now. Right?
Yes.
Sorry, I just felt like I had to point out that joke. Yeah, and both men went back and forth. None of them really had the advantage. Chavo even stretched him out with a gory special, which Mysterio got out of with, I believe, head scissors. And he also did a springboard head scissors to Guerrero on the outside of the ring. I remember that spot. Right.
Well, he got out of it and then got hooked back into the gory special and went, instead of knees first, because he was sustaining a knee injury, he went belly first.
And then Guerrero got frustrated, brought a steel chair into the ring, and placed in the corner, but Mysterio reversed, and he tried to toss Mysterio into the chair, but Mysterio avoided the move, gaining the momentum or the upper hand here. And then freaking Mysterio tried to win the match by nailing a DDT on Guerrero onto the chair with a tornado DDT, but the referee took the chair out of the way. Guerrero was on the outside at this point, right? And then freaking Chavo grabbed another steel chair. Referee was distracted. Chavo then nailed Mysterio on the head with it, and followed that up with a brain buster to get the 3 count and retain the Cruiserweight title. Your thoughts on this? Because honestly, that ending I could have just done without.
And Chavo was doing the same thing that he was doing with his uncle in WCW. The same thing is that they would literally grab the damn steel chair, put it in there. Then, right when they're not getting the advantage again, they go out, they start beating up on their opponent. Then, when the opponent the referee's fucking view is obstructed with the opponent that grabs the damn steel chair to use it, they use another steel chair.
And of course, I do have to point this out right now, and I know you probably heard the same thing briefly. At the start of this Cruiserweight title match, the fans were actually chanting Eddie towards Chavo.
Yes.
Which was funny, because I thought back to this time period, I'm like, Eddie Guerrero was signed with WWE or WWF at this point. And, well, he would have a pay-per-view match of his own about a week later in that 4-way match for the IC title at No Way Out. Which we reviewed 2001 No Way Out, by the way. For those who are wondering, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, they showed the video package hyping up the U.S. title match between Rick Steiner and Dustin Rhodes. And of course, Dustin Rhodes recently returned to WCW at this point after an 8-month hiatus. And Ric Flair wanted Dustin Rhodes to join his little stable, but Dustin refused. And of course, Rhodes was in storyline arrested, suspended, or fired from WCW until Kevin Nash got his job back in storyline, demanding a U.S. title match for freaking Dustin Rhodes here, after Kevin Nash threatened to beat the hell out of David Flair backstage. So yeah, that's how this happened.
Dude, there is no rest for David Flair. He's always gotten his ass hit.
That begs the question. How come back in 99 and 2000, ICP wrestled better than David Flair?
Everyone wrestled better than David Flair.
Even David Flair's sister Charlotte wrestles better than him these days.
Yes. And I hate to say, even Canyon.
Who better than Canyon? Everyone except for David Flair.
Exactly.
God damn it. God, David Flair is not even wrestling on the show when we're ripping on him. Right? You see, that's where our mind went. Anyway, this match was a hard-hitting affair. Is there any freaking, spots that stood out in this U.S. title match between Rhodes and Steiner that stuck out to you? Besides, how it ended?
Steiner was taking every fucking cheap shot that he could. And Dustin Rhodes, formerly known as Goldust, or formerly known as Fester in WCW when he first started.
Dustin Rhodes, the former Goldust.
Yeah, but he was something else before he was Goldust. When he first started in WWE, he was like a fucking Uncle Fester character.
Ooh. You're talking about his second return to WCW when he was that god-awful 7 gimmick, which only lasted a night.
Yes.
And of course, Dustin Rhodes worked a freaking short shoe promo where he was like, well, this gimmick is trash. Right?
Yes.
I mean, Dustin Rhodes did have a prior WCW run prior to that, before he became the Goldust character in the early 90s. But we all know how that ended. King of the Road. Since 95. God,
You still gotta review that.
God, I hate that. I hated that shit. God, I hate that show. You're gonna torture me with that one of these days. I know you are. Right? I mean, this match, like we said, could have gone either way, but Rick Steiner was doing dirty tactics here. And, well, Rick Steiner exposed the turnbuckle, and he slammed Rhodes face first into the exposed turnbuckle, knocking Rhodes out for a 3 count, but Rick Steiner also had his feet on the ropes. But, so Rick Steiner retains the U.S. title here. And, of course, after the match, Steiner delivered the freaking Steiner driver on the Rhodes and cut a promo but Dustin Rhodes got back up, a freaking attack Rick right afterwards, and set up Rick Steiner in the corner, and Rhodes proceeded to deliver the Shattered Dreams, which is a Goldust finisher move that he had from WWE or WWF at this point, right? So your thoughts on this?
Was this the end of their rivalry? No, it was not the end of their rivalry. It actually escalated their rivalry in WCW, which ended in Dustin Rhodes winning the WCW United States Championship or TV Champion, whatever it was at that time.
It was a U.S. title. But it doesn't have that championship for very long, no. Because like we said, WCW folded a little over a month later after this. Right?
Well, it folded right after freaking Greed when because they freaking started, because at that point, it was under Ric Flair, and then when Ric Flair's team lost, it became under Stephanie and Shane McMahon, which led to the Invasion angle, which led to the final match at Survivor Series, which they lost.
Sorry, but the Invasion angle, I'm just one of those people that think the Invasion angle could have done a whole lot better. Storyline-wise, had Vince McMahon just chose to wait until those WCW contracts at the big main event performance had expired, instead of what it was. And then we go on. Oh, yeah, and by the way, what we hear after the match is that friggin' Dustin Rhodes was also banned from the arena at this point. So that's 2
Yes.
gone from Ric Flair, right?
And then there's another backstage segment between Ric Flair and your boy Lance Storm.
For the last time, Lance Storm's not my boy. He's your boy.
Nope.
And
or was it DDP and because I know there was two backstage segments back to back. It was DDP and
DDP
the Cat.
It was DDP and the Cat back there, along with and then it was
Ric Flair and Lance Storm
doing their little like prep talk, right?
Yeah. Oh, Ric Flair was saying, "Oh yeah, this is Kevin Nash's career in my hands," because it was the loser of the
world title match
main event for the WCW heavyweight title had to leave WCW.
Yep. We'll talk about that when we get there. That was full of shenanigans. But anyway, we go on to arguably your favorite match of this show. And that was Totally Buffed, which was Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell. They were
no, that is your team. God damn it. My team I liked was Chronic.
Yeah, and they were taking on Chronic. Or they were supposed to, but Brian Clark was, quote, not medically cleared, so Brian Adams, the former Crush, got the friggin' got the match instead, and it would be a handicap match. Right?
Lance Storm told me Brian Adams his match was next, and he's like, well, where's my tag? He's like, I don't know, and I don't care. You're on next.
Damn, just tell you. It's like, yeah, just tell you how you really feel. Right?
And then Totally Buff came out, did a fucking
promo.
They were shit.
Yeah, and you were like in hog heaven watching them talk and pose.
I know.
And talk and pose and talk and pose. Apparently, the winners of this match would also be.
I just think the fact everyone was saying Goldberg, 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 and they're like, "Oh, stop it! We got him retired. We had him fired." If you keep saying Goldberg, we're gonna leave. Everyone kept saying Goldberg, Goldberg, and they shouldn't leave.
And apparently, the winners of this handicap match would be the number one contenders for the World Tag Team, the WCW Tag Team titles at Greed. God, right?
Which that match was shit to begin with.
But yeah, anyway, Brian Adams made his freaking like way out to the ring. It looked like freaking Brian Clark was with him, but the lights were flickering everywhere. You couldn't see what happened, and apparently Bagwell took Adams out with a steel chair. Keep that in mind for later.
See what happened? Bagwell did not hit the other guy because the other guy wasn't the other one.
So yeah, Clark.
He literally dodged it and just laid on the ground.
So yeah, Clark was quote out, and yeah, I'm saying that with air quotes. You'll know why later. This was a handicap match.
Bagwell went to hit the pretend Clark, and he actually dodged it because you could literally see him move before the damn chair hit. It just hit the ring post.
Yes.
And it made it look like he was out. So he was down for 90% of the 95% of the damn match.
Yep. And of course, so Brian Adams, or the former Crush, whatever you want to call him, was on his own here. He tried to take control early in the match, but was dominated by both Luger and Bagwell because of the 2-on-1 situation. Of course, later on in the match, Adams made a comeback by powerbombing Luger until Brian Clark got up and freaking attacked freaking Adams while the real Brian Clark happened to come down the ring side area. And then this imposter freaking revealed himself to be Mike Awesome. Just in disguise. Like what?
Yes.
Mike not so
He took
awesome.
off the fake mustache and the fake hair He's like, I'm Mike Awesome! You are Mike Awful!
Mike Awesome's fake mustache still look better than your real mustache.
My real mustache looks better than his fake mustache, but his fake mustache looks better than yours, so.
Go fuck yourself.
You know it's true, bitch.
Of course, either way, there was a brawl at ringside. It was like freaking Brad Adams was down and out. He got up all groggy. Luger came and applied the torture rack on Adams. And then Bagwell then delivered the buff blockbuster on Adams to win the match. Giving Luger and freaking Bagwell the title shot at Greed. Your thoughts on this one?
It was shit.
And here's where the interference fest really kick in, right?
Well, I just didn't like the fact that they did it where they fucking fucked over Chronic because they already knew Chronic was gonna be fucking Lex Luger and fucking Buff Bagwell.
Yep. I mean, your boy.
And did you see he had Judy Bagwell on his wrestling tights? We all know that you love that.
Yeah, that reminds me. We got to review that pay-per-view, too, at some point. You're like, you son of a bitch. Right?
We all know that your favorite match on that pay-per-view was Judy Bagwell on the pole.
No. That was your favorite match on that show.
Nope.
But anyway, we go on to the next matchup here, which this one has a little bit of a backstory here because it was Ernest Miller who defended the commissionership against Lance Storm on the Nitro prior to this show, which Lance Storm won. Thus, Lance Storm was on a power trip. Before I get into this, I also have to mention this. Chronic was also banned from the arena after the match. So Ric Flair was on a power trip, friggin' banning all the baby faces after their matches. Right?
This was when that backstage segment with DDP and Ernest the Cat Miller were literally saying, oh, this is up to us. We're the last line. It was like, Lance who?
Yep. So, yeah, this was for the commissionership between Ernest Miller and Lance Storm. Of course, Miller was in control early on with signature kicks until Storm got out of the ring.
Well, first, before that, we had Lance Storm come to the ring.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. Him saying, I'm going to win now, stand for the Canadian
anthem. Can I be serious for a minute? That famous line. And then he goes, yeah, and I want you all to stand for the Canadian national anthem. And I'm thinking to myself, who the hell does Lance Storm think he is? Bret Hart from 97? Right?
And then Ernest the Cat Miller goes like, stop this, hold this, pause this shit.
Yep, so Ernest Miller came out.
He's like, someone, just give me a minute, someone call my mama.
Yeah, and this is when Ernest Miller, I believe, had that theme song, or he could have something different, but he was still saying call my mom. I'm just thinking to myself, who else do we know had that same freaking call my mama theme song gimmick? Certainly nobody that made some recent controversy headlines recently. Am I right?
They called out Whoopi Goldberg on her shit.
Exactly, and we ain't going into detail on that. We're here to review this match, or this show. But anyway.
Brodus Clay, or better known as Tyrus.
Yes. That story's made the rounds, I think everyone knows. So let's just get back to this matchup. Like I said, Ernest Miller took control early with signature kicks to Storm until Storm got out of the ring, and then shortly later on began targeting the leg of Miller here. And then Ernest the Cat Miller attempted a feliner, but freaking Storm countered it into a single leg takedown, which which freaking Storm then applied the Maple Leaf submission hold, which, let's face it, that was a half Boston Crab, right?
Yes.
But Miller reversed out of that and delivered an enziguri. Then Mike Sanders appeared at ringside to distract Miller, but Miller's valet, Miss Jones, freaking kicked him, taking him out. Right?
Kicked him to the curb.
More interference, even if it's just a distraction interference. Then Miller took advantage of the situation when Storm was distracted, nailed Storm with a feline to win the match, and to once again secure the position of WCW Commissioner, which would take effect at midnight after the show was over. Right?
And then he got kicked out of the building.
And then afterwards, he got kicked out of the building as well. Right?
Because Ric Flair was losing grip on reality.
Some still say that about him today, but that's another story for another time. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, we go to our semi-main match, or what was to be believed our semi-main match. And that was Diamond Dallas Page taking on Jeff Jarrett. However, during the lead up to the show, Jeff Jarrett goaded Page into fighting Chris Kanyon, who freaking DDP said in a promo leading up to the show to Kanyon, "Yeah, I'll take you on any place, anytime." Well, DDP had to cash in that check when he faced his then former tag team partner. It's funny how those two would reunite later on in the year in another company. Less said about that cage match, the better at this point. Right?
Well, they freaking had to. The freaking DDP was like, "Oh, I'll beat you anytime, anywhere." And then right when Jared fucking enters, says, "Oh, here comes," and the kid, they're like, "Oh, play his music," and then Canyon comes from underneath the ring.
Yeah, and then he attacks Page from behind. But Page freaking countered freaking Canyon's offense here. They exchanged moves, but one scary thing was when they were on the outside, I think freaking Canyon kicked the steel steps into Page's head, which Page's head was positioned between the steel steps and the ring post. That split freaking Page open. Right?
Yep.
And then a little later on, freaking Canyon tried to win by using the Canyon Cutter, which was his version of the Diamond Cutter. But that only got him a 2 count. So Canyon called on Jarrett to nail Page with the guitar, but Jarrett missed, and then Page took advantage of the roll-up, but Canyon kicked out at 2, and the referee was knocked out. So Jeff Jarrett entered the ring and nailed DDP with a stroke, thus allowing freaking Canyon to follow it up with a flatliner to win that match over DDP. Right?
Yep.
So before I get to the next segment, your thoughts on the DDP Canyon match?
It was okay.
Yeah, and it built to the bigger match later. And then afterwards, Canyon got a promo saying, yeah, who better than Canyon? And then he was like, the next match is scheduled for one fall with a 2-hour time limit. What the hell? Right?
Yes.
And then he was like, okay, yeah, this loser, Diamond Dallas Page, he'll be taking on the greatest of all time wrestler, the former world champ, 2-time world champion, Jeff Jarrett. Hey, and we all know what happened there.
Yep. Jarrett would get his ass beat.
Yeah, and then Jeff Jarrett tried to take advantage of freaking DDP because he was down and out from the previous match up here. Try to get an easy win, but that did not happen.
Also, he'd have freaking slap. He'd always say slap nut, and then he'd have slap nut posted on his guitar.
Yeah, you're a slap nut. Anyway, of course, Page managed to counter with a brawl at ringside between he and Jarrett. Page tried to hit the diamond cutter on Jarrett on the announce table, but Jarrett shoved him into Tony Schiavone ringside.
Yeah.
And then Jarrett took control of the match. Was in control of the match, including that thing having a chin lock on freaking Paige. I don't remember exactly, but I felt like I had to mention that. Of course, Paige made his comeback. Near the end of the match, Canyon returned to ringside to pull Paige out of the ring, following a pin attempt, I think. And that allowed Jarrett to nail Paige with a chair shot and got a 2 count. At this point, just throw the rollback out the damn window. Right.
It was funny because everyone thought that DDP was out, but he fucking came back for a second win and was beating the shit out of Jarrett.
Yeah. Yeah, and then freaking, then Jarrett went for the freaking, guitar shot on the Paige, but Paige ducked, and Jarrett accidentally nailed Kenyon in the head with the guitar instead, which allowed Paige to deliver the diamond cutter to Jarrett to win the match with the 3 count. Your thoughts on this one?
It was funny as hell that Jarrett thought that he could win, and then, of course, when he didn't have the upper hand anymore, he literally called Canyon down. Canyon comes to distract the ref and everything, and he gets hit with the slap nut guitar.
So, yeah, in essence, DDP loses one match but wins another on this night.
Yes.
So, yeah, the Iron Man freaking performance of this show goes to DDP for that. Right?
Yes.
And, of course, we go to the main event, which was World Heavyweight, which is WCW Champion Scott Steiner defending against Kevin Nash here. But, and at this point, every face was barred from the arena. And then, Ric Flair came out to provide color commentary. Ric Flair was given a freaking envelope. That was one of the backstage segments we've seen. And Flair announced after Steiner made his entrance, and Kevin Nash was nowhere to be seen. Ric Flair said, if Kevin Nash, I know Kevin Nash is motivated. He wants to be the champion, so he's going to prove he's going to be fighting right here, right now. I'm so confident that the loser of this match will leave WCW. And Scott Steiner thought he would get an easy win with a count-out victory. Imagine that's how this pay-per-view ended. That would have been shit, right? But instead,
two nurses.
But instead, Kevin Nash's music plays, which was the NWO Wolfpack theme. Nash came out in a wheelchair being escorted by 2 women, or nurses, whatever you want to call them. And it looked like he had the his leg in a cast from a certain angle, right? And he goes, I can't fucking get in the ring, and right when the referee was doing the count on the outside, counting Nash out, Kevin Nash just pulled us out the Rollins, pulled the blanket out from him, and just got up and revealed nothing was wrong with him. That old gif that we've been seeing lately. I honestly didn't know that moment happened on a pay-per-view. I thought that happened on a Nitro or something.
No, that happened on that pay-per-view. He hit Steiner with the world title against the one, and then grabs the mic and says, I wasn't as injured as I let on.
Yes.
And got the 1, 2, 3, and then, of course, Ric Flair.
No, you just had to ruin this. I was going to say the joke. Yeah, Nash came in the ring, nailed Steiner in the head with the world title, got the victory, and was the world champion. Show went off air, everyone went home happy. Wait a minute, that's not how it happened. Right?
No, Ric Flair being Ric Flair
was like, no.
I forgot to say, it's 2 out of 3 falls, no disqualification, falls count anywhere.
Actually, no, he didn't say that. He said no disqualification. But then after that announcement,
he said 2 out of 3. Well, first he said 2 out of 3 falls,
and then he said no disqualification when Scott Steiner was in control. When the referee threatened to disqualify him.
After he knocked out Kevin Nash outside the ring, he literally said, "Oh yeah, I also forgot. No disqualification." Freaking Scott Steiner trying to lift Kevin Nash, 350 pounds of the man, freaking trying to lift him into the ring and couldn't do that. And then he's like, and then he calls Ric Flair over, tells him, "Oh, it's false count anywhere." Oh yeah, I also forgot. False count anywhere.
Like, what the hell? Like, the wrestlers were making the fucking rules up on the spot here.
Yes.
Of course, while all this was happening, we got to mention this. After the announcement, DDP was shown in the back trying to get to the ringside to even out the situation, but your boys, Bagwell and Luger, attacked him, stuffed him into a crate and sat there, preventing him from getting out.
It's your boys, you stupid son of a bitch!
That's your boys, not mine. Yeah, and then Steiner's bodyguard was freaking interfering in the match. Yeah, also, right?
Yes.
And of course, with
she would have attacked the goddamn ref.
And then falls count anywhere. Steiner pinned freaking Nash on the outside to score the second one. At this point, Nash was busted open. Then he got hit in the head with a steel chair that lacerated him or something. Anyway, the two.
It was a pipe.
Yeah, the two got.
It was the stupid pipe that Lesnar, Steiner would use to break people's legs.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and it was a brass knuck shot, too. Friggin' Nash was busted up. Friggin' Nash and Steiner went back in the ring. Friggin' Flair handed a steel chair to Steiner, and he nailed Nash with it. While friggin' Steiner's bodyguard was friggin' goddamn holding him in place. And then Steiner then friggin' applied the Steiner recliner submission hold, but Nash powered out of it. Nash didn't remember.
I love that they're like, "Oh, no one's ever kicked out of the Steiner." I'm like, that's not what he did. He freaking literally powered out of it. You don't kick out of a submission.
You don't kick out of a submission. You power out of a submission when you get to the ropes. What? And then
the fucking the other announcer's like, "Oh yeah, he kicked out of the Steiner recliner." I'm like, how can you kick out of a submission?
I don't know. Logic, am I right?
Yes.
Maybe next time I should. Maybe next time I see, I should lock in the crossface and see if you can kick out of it. According to that logic, am I right?
Half Boston Crab and let's see you kick out of
it. But anyway, Nash got back in control after breaking out of Steiner's submission hold. Steiner recliner here. Nailed Steiner with a snake eyes in the corner, followed by a big boot. And then freaking Nash actually delivered the jackknife powerbomb on the freaking Steiner. Looked like he was going to win the championship for sure. Until freaking the pinfall was broken up by Steiner's lady yet again.
Attacking the ref.
After the ref and attacking him. So freaking Nash delivered a sidewalk slam to her. And then Flair then tossed in another chair to Steiner, allowing Steiner to nail Nash in the head with it. Knocking him out once again. And then freaking Steiner then freaking applied the Steiner recliner again, which led to freaking Nash being knocked out cold, with the arms being raised 3 times, and Steiner retains the title by TKO.
Yes.
Which in storyline forced Nash to leave WCW. Your thoughts on this one?
They should never had Ric Flair run WCW.
Oh, yeah, and here's a little fun fact. This would actually legit be Nash's last appearance in WCW. Because, maybe somewhere down the line, maybe Nash was supposed to return and reignite his feud with Flair and Steiner, but we'll never know. Because, WCW went out of business about a year later, or a month later,
it was a few months after this that Stephanie and Shane bought WCW.
Yeah, it was like about a month after this, or a little over a month after this event. So
because they were literally saying oh, we're going to be getting new owners. How are the new owners going to act over this?
So this would be Kevin Nash's final appearance in WCW overall. And the next time, and then Nash decided to sit out the rest of his Time Warner contract after WCW was bought out. And we wouldn't see Nash again on pay-per-view until the following year at WWF's No Way Out 2002 pay-per-view, when he came back with Hall and Hogan as the WWE's version of NWO. You know, the lethal dose of poison.
The draft. It was only after the draft when, it was after, Ric Flair bought the shares from Stephanie and Shane.
Yeah.
And then a month later, they had the draft.
Yeah, and then the New World Order.
Vince said, "Oh, I'm gonna bring in poison if you don't quit." Ric Flair never quit, so he brought in Hogan, Nash, and Hall as the NWO for the first draft.
Yeah, they're in the WWE obviously after WCW's death.
Yes.
So anyway, now we go on to our favorite portion of this review, which is our rating system. Boy, this one's a doozy. Shane Helms winning that 6-way elimination cruiserweight championship #1 contenders match. I gave that one 3 out of 5. If it wasn't for all the botches, it probably would have gotten a 4.
3.5.
3.5, yeah. Hugh Morris defeating the Wall. 2.5 out of 5. That's being nice.
3.5.
You enjoyed it way more than I did. Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo defeating Mark Jindrak and Sean Stasiak to retain the WCW Tag Team titles. I gave that one 2 3/4 out of 5.
2.5.
Chavo Guerrero defeating Rey Mysterio to retain the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. I gave that one 3 3/4 out of 5.
Give it a 3 because it just didn't work for me.
Yep. Rick Steiner defeating Dustin Rhodes to retain the United States Championship. Ending angle aside, I gave that one only 2.5 out of 5.
I gave that 3.5 because it was actually an entertaining match to begin with.
Yep. Your boys, Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell defeating Brian Adams in the handicap #1 contenders match.
You stupid son of a bitch!
By the way, I gave that one only 1/4 out of 5, and that's being nice.
1.
You gave it a solid 1. That's more points than what I gave it. Ernest Miller defeating Lance Storm to become the WCW commissioner. I gave that one 1 1/4 out of 5.
4.
Yeah. You gave that one 4 out of 5. To you, that was the best match of the night, huh?
That was just funny as hell seeing Ernest the Cat Miller beat the shit out of Lance Storm.
Canyon defeating DDP. I gave that one 3 3/4 out of 5, or 2 3/4 out of 5.
2.
You like 2 out of 5. And then DDP defeating Jeff Jarrett. I gave that one 3 out of 5.
3.5.
And the main event, which had all the tomfoolery and all the freaking crap all over it, thanks to Ric Flair, which saw Scott Steiner defeat Kevin Nash in a 2 out of 3 falls, no disqualification, falls count anywhere match where the loser leaves WCW to retain the WCW Championship. I gave that one 3 out of 5. I'm sorry, I didn't enjoy that one.
4.
You gave that one 4? Yeah. So, my final grade for SuperBrawl Revenge or SuperBrawl 2001, whatever you want to call it, is a D.
C.
You enjoyed this more than I did for some reason. To me, the only highlight match of the night was the Mysterio and Guerrero match. Other than that, I really didn't care much for it. Despite the ending to
The
the
main
Guerrero
event,
match.
it was pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, so.
You know you don't scare me.
Oh, I know, but you made me watch a crappy WCW show. And next week, it's my choice of what we're going to be seeing for the freaking pay-per-view review segment. Oh, yeah, and which one? I could go for a WCW show, but then again, I don't want to fucking sit there and be miserable with WCW twice. I could go for a WWE show, but that would be too easy at this point. I'm gonna go somewhere that you least expect it. Because we were talking about crappy WCW shows and we were talking about crappy WWE shows. And I had to think outside the box, and I thought to myself, okay, what is a shitty show to get him back with next week following this WCW?
Heroes of Wrestling, okay.
No, we're not doing that one. That would be way too predictable. You would be half-ass expecting it. Right?
I'm half-ass expecting you to do TNA as well.
So I thought to myself, okay, what is a crappy pay-per-view show that's not WCW or WWE that we still have yet to do to get baggy for this WCW abomination? And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, oh, I got the perfect idea. We're going to TNA. You know, we haven't reviewed a TNA show in quite a while. And this show that I'm thinking of is famous.
You make me watch 2011, I will hurt you.
This show is famous, or infamous, depending on the way you look at it. You made me review this crap show, so I'm going to make you review this crap show. Next week, we will be reviewing TNA Victory Road 2011. Featuring Sting
taking for it, aren't you, buddy?
With the main event featuring Sting taking on a fucking drugged up Jeff Hardy. And the worst match ever in TNA's history.
Yeah. Just wait. Just wait, buddy.
Oh, like your picks really scare me. I could have gone with Hell in a Cell 2019, but that's too predictable. Especially when I was already on the grid a couple weeks ago, but y'all know why that didn't happen.
It's not Hell in a Cell, I can tell you that.
Oh, God. So, yeah, next week we get to see how bad that show is as a whole, besides the main event, which everyone knows was shit. Right? Will it be good? Will it be shit? Only time will tell. We'll figure that out by next week. Yeah. So until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
He has no idea what hurt is coming to him. Not a single clue.
Oh, enjoy the shit show next week. And probably the week after.
Trust me. I have many shitty matches just lined up for you.
Oh, you don't scare me. Were you threatening me with a good time?
It may be Heroes of Wrestling.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no. That's the king of crap. Do you really want to torture
But
someone?
you guys will have to wait and find out.
So then, peace.
Deuces.